Dr. Alex Cross is a Washington, D.C. detective who also works as a forensic psychologist. One day, while he is teaching boxing to a group of elementary school kids, he gets a call from headquarters about a murder. A woman named Diane has just killed her own husband. Alex is asked to negotiate with Diane, who is locked inside her bedroom and threatening to end her own life if anyone tries to arrest her. Moving slowly, he works his way in to see her and tries to calm her down enough to get the gun away from her mouth so they can talk. Alex reads the room fast. From the scattered liquor bottles and the long collared shirt Diane is wearing to hide her bruises, he figures out that her husband was often drunk and violent. Diane admits she killed him because she was sick of being abused again and again. Alex tells her he knows first-rate lawyers who handle domestic violence cases all the time, especially for wives defending themselves. But he warns her that if she kills herself, no one will ever learn the truth, and she will be remembered only as a criminal. But this is only the beginning. This is Kiss the Girls. On his way back, Alex gets a call from his cousin and colleague John. His niece Naomi has been missing for 4 days in Durham, North Carolina. Alex comforts his sister, Naomi's mother, and promises he will find the girl no matter what. The next day, Alex drives to Durham and shows up at the police station. While the senior officers take their time getting there, he wanders the building and finds a board covered in missing persons cases. Every one of them is a young woman, and Naomi is up there too. Two Durham detectives, Nick and Davy, come to meet him and invite him to a scene that may be connected to the disappearances. On the drive over, Nick explains what they have so far. Out of all the missing women, 2 bodies have turned up. Both were found lying face up, tied to a tree, with clumps of their hair torn out. At the second scene, the killer left a message calling himself Casanova, named after the historical figure famous for winning women over. The victims all fit the same profile. They are strikingly beautiful girls in their late teens to early 20s. When they arrive, the body is not Naomi. It is another missing woman. Alex meets the head of the Durham police, Chief Hatfield, who offers any help he can. He also runs into Kyle, an FBI agent and an old friend. Kyle explains that Casanova assaulted all 3 recovered victims, but there were no signs of torture. He does not kill them outright either. He drugs them, ties them to a tree in a very specific knot pattern, leaves them face up with their hair torn out, and abandons them to die. The strange part is that Casanova never leaves a trace. No fingerprints, no skin cells, not even a stray hair. That is exactly why the police cannot track him. Nick and Davy drive Alex around the nearby campus and explain that this is where Casanova hunts. The crowd of students makes it easy for him to blend in and vanish. Back at the station, after studying the case files, Alex shares his read. These girls are not just beautiful. Each one has a talent, a skill, or some rare gift. Alex is convinced Casanova is not out to kill the women he takes. He wants to collect them. The 3 bodies were killed in a random order that does not match the order the girls disappeared, which means the rest are almost certainly still alive somewhere. He believes those 3 were assaulted and had their hair torn out as punishment for breaking Casanova's rules. Meanwhile, at a hospital, a doctor named Kate finishes operating on a young boy who fell into a coma after an accident. Kate is driven and disciplined. She trains in kickboxing, goes to the sauna, and keeps herself busy. That night, she wakes to a noise in her living room and realizes she has just become Casanova's next target.
Everything.
The next morning, Alex goes to see Seth, Naomi's boyfriend, who is playing basketball near his complex. Seth is stressed and on edge because the police keep coming after him, since he was once the main suspect. Alex asks about Naomi's violin, which was never found in her dorm or in evidence. Seth says Naomi was never apart from it. That makes Alex suspect she was taken before she ever made it back to her dorm. Elsewhere, Kate wakes inside Casanova's hideout, tied to a bed. Casanova comes in and tells her how much he admires her mind, that she is both a doctor and a skilled fighter. He claims he brought her there so she can experience love. Then he lays out 3 rules she must never break or she will be punished. Do not try to escape. Do not scream for help. Never fight back. After that, he injects her with a stronger dose of sedative, and once she is unconscious, he photographs her and emails the pictures to a mysterious figure he seems eager to impress. Next, Alex meets a doctor named Wick Sachs at the campus pool. Sachs is a possible link because the police think Casanova understands drugs and may work in medicine. But after getting a look at him, Alex has doubts. Sachs is thin and frail, while Casanova is strong enough to carry his victims. Still, Alex keeps an eye on him. Down in the hideout, Kate realizes she is not alone. Through the gaps in her door, she can see other rooms, so she risks calling out and introducing herself.
My name is Kate. I'm Kate McTiernan. I'm a doctor at the Carolina Regional Medical Center. I need help.
At first, no one answers, until one of the girls quietly tells her to stay silent, because anyone who screams gets killed on the spot like the 3 victims before them. Once it feels safe, the other girls introduce themselves. Some have been trapped for days, some for weeks, some for months. Naomi is among them and has already been held for 8 days. Kate breaks down, but she pulls herself together and secretly starts training her kickboxing so she will be ready to fight Casanova when the chance comes. Back in his hotel room, Alex is shocked to find a photo of one of the face-up victims slipped under his door. Casanova put it there. Alex bursts out with his gun drawn, but the killer's already gone. On the back of the photo is writing about who Giacomo Casanova was, along with a welcome message aimed right at Alex. That means Casanova has been watching the investigation and already knows Alex has joined the hunt. After training, Kate eats a piece of bread Casanova left her, but throws it right back up since it has gone bad. Soon Casanova arrives and he already knows she screamed earlier. Since she broke a rule, he plans to drug her and execute her like the others. But Kate, ready for this moment, kicks him and bolts. The hideout sits in the middle of a forest. Casanova chases her, and with nowhere left to run, Kate jumps off a cliff into the river below. The current carries her until some kids out playing find her and rush her to the hospital. Alex and the others come to question her, but Kate is still in shock, so the doctor tells them to wait. Because Alex is also a psychologist, he gets permission and slowly coaxes her into talking. When he asks about Naomi, Kate says the girl is still alive in Casanova's hideout, but she has no idea where it is, since she was unconscious after the fall. Once she recovers, Kate speaks to the media, thanking the kids who saved her and urging the parents of the missing girls not to give up. Then with real defiance, she sends a message straight to Casanova, telling him she broke his rules and got away, as if to say she is not afraid of him. Alex then puts Kate under hypnosis with everything recorded. He asks her to describe Casanova and recall every small detail. The rooms, the decorations, even the sounds. Still traumatized, Kate can only relive her captivity. She describes a Casanova who always wore a mask, a hideout full of dark corridors and many rooms, and how she pushed through the pain in her legs until she found a way out. As it all comes back, she breaks down, feeling guilty for leaving the other women behind. Kate's blood cannot trace the sedative, but from her symptoms, Alex is confident Casanova used a drug called systole that does not appear in any medical records. He checks the pharmaceutical databases for large systole purchases over the last 5 years and finds a name. William Rudolph, a plastic surgeon in Los Angeles who grew up in Durham. Meanwhile, Casanova checks on his captives and orders Naomi to play the violin for him. The next day, Alex, Kate, and Seth go to a wooded area near where Kate was found. Seth says the forest gets heavy foot traffic from locals, students, and hikers. Alex tells Kate that Rudolph bought systole in large amounts, which she finds strange, since plastic surgeons do not normally use it. Alex adds that the police are also hunting a criminal known as the gentleman caller, believed to be Casanova's accomplice, and he suspects Rudolph is one of the 2 men. Alex flies to Los Angeles to track Rudolph down. Kate insists on coming because she still remembers Casanova's build and voice and wants to save the women who are still held. In LA, Alex reunites with John and gets help from an LAPD detective named Castillo. The next day, they tail Rudolph to his own hideout deep in a California forest. Alex and John move in close and hear him shouting and raging inside. Rudolph steps out to grab a large black bag from his trunk, nearly spotting them, then heads to a nightclub. Inside, Kate watches him approach a woman and stroke her hair the exact same way he stroked her in captivity, which convinces her that Rudolph is Casanova. Rudolph takes the woman back to his hideout with Alex and the others behind him. They hear a scream and storm the house, finding the woman about to be taken. Rudolph escapes, and Detective Castillo is killed in the gunfire. Back at the hotel, Kate treats Alex's wounds while the news covers the failed operation. Only John and Castillo are named, which means Alex and Kate are still unknown. Because Rudolph killed an officer and was about to abduct a woman, he is now a suspect. That night, Alex and Kate go to Rudolph's house, already swarming with LA police and FBI, and run into Kyle. It turns out Rudolph is the gentleman caller. Kyle explains that Rudolph worked in 2 places, Los Angeles and Durham, traveling back and forth on a set schedule. If Casanova collects women as slaves, Rudolph is far worse. His hobby is collecting body parts from his victims. The women the 2 men take are different. Behind a wardrobe, the police find a massive hidden freezer holding 15 pairs of human feet. Looking at the news clippings scattered around, Alex realizes Rudolph was both partnering and competing with Casanova, whose identity is still unknown. Then he is stunned to find a photo of Wick Sachs, which suggests Sachs might be Casanova. Chief Hatfield leads Nick, Davy, and the Durham police in a raid on Sachs's home. In the basement, they find handcuffs, chains, and a mask, which deepens the suspicion. Sachs is arrested in the middle of teaching a class, and Alex is allowed to interrogate him. Sachs admits he has been involved with many women through disturbing fantasies, but insists he never raped or hurt anyone. He also says he once met Naomi at his office and assaulted her. Furious, Alex moves to hit him before the other detectives pull him back. But Sachs is not Casanova. He was set up as a scapegoat by Rudolph and Casanova precisely because of his own twisted fantasies. Alex goes to see Kate, who is replaying her hypnosis recording. She remembers hearing running water in the hideout, which means it might be underground. Alex doubts it, since the FBI already searched the whole forest and none of the farmhouses or barns had a basement. But Kate is certain, so Alex goes back to Seth, who knows the forest well. Seth explains that back in the colonial era, a wealthy man owned a huge plantation with every facility, including an underground cellar for storing food. Since Kate was found about 900 meters from the main plantation house, they head out to search that patch of forest for the hidden space. Meanwhile, Rudolph arrives at Casanova's hideout, sizing up the women and again ordering Naomi to play. Casanova tells him to leave because the police are closing in and he does not want his location or identity exposed. The two clash since Rudolph has been supplying the Sistal all along and insists on staying hidden, even threatening to kill Naomi. Fed up, Casanova fires a shot that deliberately misses.
Nobody wants to hear.
A warning that he will not hesitate to kill Rudolph if he steps out of line. Alex hears the gunshot and traces it, and at last finds the door to the underground space. He goes in through the dark corridors. The rotted wooden floor gives way, and he falls into a well, then crawls through the drainage tunnels until he reaches a large room full of captive women, Naomi among them. Alex tells his niece to stay put and goes after Casanova and Rudolph, who have already fled outside. In the shootout, he hits Rudolph. But even dying, Rudolph keeps Casanova's identity secret and bleeds out. The police and FBI arrive to work the scene and free the women. They also find plenty of Casanova's fingerprints, which should reveal his identity within 12 hours. Kate is back at work and invites Alex to dinner that evening, but he turns her down because he already made plans with Naomi. That night, Alex calls Kate to make sure she is safe at home. 2 officers are already posted outside since Casanova is still out there. But then another officer shows up and relieves the 2 on guard. Meanwhile, Alex studies Casanova's handwriting on the back of that photo, and something feels off. He compares it to the report Nick filed that morning, and Nick's signature is almost identical to Casanova's. Nick is the real Casanova. Alex tries to warn Kate, but she is on the phone with a friend, and at that moment Nick lets himself into her home, saying he wants to return some of her things. He quietly cuts the phone line. Alex races toward her house. Nick makes small talk with Kate, starting normal before drifting into something dark. Suddenly it hits her, and Kate realizes Nick is the Casanova who held her captive. They break into a struggle, and Kate manages to fight him off and cuff him to the oven rail. Cornered, Nick yanks the oven until the gas line tears loose, planning to blow up the house. Just as he raises his lighter, Alex arrives and presses a gun to his head, ordering him to drop it. Since firing would set off the gas, Alex sets his pistol down behind a milk carton and tries to negotiate. Nick says that whenever he sees a beautiful woman like Kate, he feels he has to possess her and destroy her. That tells us Nick wants to dominate and control his victims because it feeds his twisted desires. It also explains why he did not just run when the DNA was about to expose him. Instead, he came back for Kate because a psychopath this obsessed feels like a total failure when a piece of his collection escapes, and getting her back became everything to him. With no way out, Nick decides to take Alex and Kate down with him. But Alex, sharp as ever, presses his pistol flush against the milk carton so it will not throw a single spark, and shoots Nick dead. The film closes with Alex pulling Kate into his arms and telling her it is finally over. So the moral of the story is if a detective starts asking weirdly specific questions, just answer them, because he's probably already solved the case while everyone else is still updating the paperwork.